everyone, welcome to Eat Something with Dee. I hope you've been enjoying your Sunday so far. I'm here today with another brunch type of recipe. It's an egg recipe, and as I've mentioned before, in the Parsi community we eat eggs a lot for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So you can make this as a brunch recipe or a breakfast recipe. I should probably tell you what the recipe is. Like I said, it's an egg recipe. We're going to be making masala scrambled eggs today. And for the most part in Indian cooking, people just call it Anda Bhurji. Anda is egg, Bhurji is like the scramble. In the Parsi community, we call it Akuri. It's all the same thing. It's just spicy scrambled eggs, really easy to make, quick and dirty. So let's get started. I'm going to show you my ingredients and then we'll get to cooking. Okay, let's go. So, hello. Here we go. There we go. You can see all my ingredients nice and clear, pretty easy there. So of course this is my big slab of butter. I cook eggs in butter. They taste better. Butter tastes better, but you can use olive oil if you want. I love my butter. So probably like a teaspoon or so of butter goes in there. And we're starting with all of our favorite basic ingredients. I've got my quarter cup of, it's about a 1/8 cup of chopped up red onions. I've got a quarter cup of chopped up red tomatoes. I keep saying red tomatoes after I say red onions, like there's other kinds of tomatoes. Okay, moving on. I've got about 2 tablespoons or so of my favorite chopped up coriander. And I chopped up 2 green chilies. You can avoid the green chilies if you don't like them. I love my green chilies, so I'm going to throw in chilies in there. And my usual suspects, this is my entire arsenal of masalas. I've got turmeric. We're going to use about a 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric, 1/2 teaspoon of red chili powder, 1 teaspoon of coriander powder, and 1 teaspoon of cumin powder. Over here, we've got our pretty little eggs, 2 large eggs, and then 1 teaspoon of ginger garlic paste. And that's the whole that all goes into a pan, fry it up, and Bob's your uncle. So we're gonna get started right away. This is one of my favorite recipes to make. Really easy, really simple. Gonna bring you over to my pan that's been heating a little bit already. And tilt you down just a bit so you can see properly. Good. Yes, camera is good. Okay, perfect. So we just throw in what I'm going to say is a teaspoon of butter into the pan. Let it get in there. I'm an expert at burning butter, so I have to be really careful. A lot of my cooking is trial and error. I've burnt a lot of food before I learned how to cook it. So just get the butter melted in there, and before it burns, right away get your red onions in there. And get them cooking. Just a little bit translucent as usual, nothing major. You don't want them to burn. You don't want them to take on any sort of, well, burnt flavoring. Quickly throw that in there and then chuck in your ginger garlic paste. This comes together fairly quickly. Not a lot to it. It's just good old scrambled eggs, but made with an Indian twist. And honestly, this is one of my absolute favorite recipes. I'm not lying when I say that. Even when I don't feel like cooking, I can wake up at 5 p.m. on a Saturday, because yes, I sleep in that much. 5 p.m. on a Saturday, completely groggy, and I will still have energy to make this because it's so simple and it's so tasty, and the promise of a really good masala scrambled egg will give me the energy to make it. Really, really simple dish to make. And the payoff is kind of really yum. So in that goes. And then I like to throw in my chilies at this point too. Get all those seeds in there because I like the spice. As usual, smells absolutely delicious. And then we're already ready for our spices. So like I said, 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric, half a teaspoon of red chili powder, 1 good teaspoon of coriander powder, and 1 good teaspoon of cumin powder. Yum! And of course, don't forget your salt to taste. I will add my salt after I put my eggs in, but I'm the queen of forgetting salt. So if I forget, please remind me. Or yell at me later in the comments, because people tend to do that. And there we go. Now the spices are starting to look a little dry, but immediately, because it's such a small quantity, because we're only making 2 eggs, immediately you can smell the spices cooking down already. I love the smell. Oh. And so it really doesn't take very long at all. And then with your tomatoes, you're going to add that little bit of moisture that it needs to get moving. I don't usually add water in this because it's eggs. And the tomatoes really kind of give it what it needs. But, you know, if you feel like it's drying up too much, you can always throw in a little bit just to get it moving. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do that right now because I feel like I might need just a little bit of encouragement for the spices to marry. I feel like I use that word a lot. I'm not hinting or anything. I just tend to use that word as a conjoiner or something. Marry the spices. Marry the onions to the tomatoes. They'll say their vows and they'll get married and it'll be beautiful. I'm in a mood today in case you haven't noticed. All right, here we go. This is the joy of doing things live and by yourself. You're alone and you're talking to essentially a camera with a few people tuned in live. And you can just babble on and your neighbors think you're going crazy. Luckily, nobody's knocked on my door yet to ask me who the hell I'm talking to every Sunday afternoon. But I'm also riffing right now because I'm waiting for this to cook up. Look how nice it looks. It's nicely marrying away. I'm going to try to mix with my left hand like a crazy person. Here, I'm not, left-handed people are not crazy. I am just not left-handed. All right. At this point, I've got everything in. I'm like a lunatic today. And I'm going to throw in my coriander. I always leave a little bit in the bowl for garnish. So we'll leave that behind for garnish. I'm just going to throw in the coriander. And that's your base. God, I love the smell of coriander. That smells amazing. That's your base for akuri or masala scrambled eggs. And at this point, I'm going to put in my salt. This is my jar of salt, by the way. What did I say, half a teaspoon or so. I like to over salt everything. I've mentioned this a million times. But, you know, just go with your taste, whatever you prefer. Some people don't like salt at all, and that's okay. To me, like a spoonful of butter and salt, and I'm good. So, love my butter, love my salt. So again, like I said, salt to taste. I tend to ramble. I don't know what's going on today. All right, moving on. This is the point at which you're already ready to throw in your eggs. Because look, your tomatoes have melted down, your onions are already cooked in there, and your spices smell amazing. So on this little base, I'm just going to crack my eggs. And these ones you don't have to be careful at all because you're going to scramble them anyway. So just smash them in. 1, 2. Aren't they pretty? Don't you love eggs? I love eggs. And then just go boop, and break your yolks. And when you break your yolks, you must make the boop sound because otherwise they don't break properly. This is in my experience, in my professional cooking experience, you must make a boop sound every time you pop your eggs. I swear to God I'm not high. I'm just very sleep deprived and so all the crazy comes out. I promise. All right. So then you just scramble your eggs, smoosh them around. You notice that I use a really small pan for this because it really keeps it contained and, you know, aids in the smushing of the eggs. In a big pan, it's going to dissipate and it's going to get, you know, too far away from me basically. So I just like to keep it in a nice small pan. And you see how quick that was? And this is why even when I'm sleepy or tired, this is such a quick and easy recipe. And it's so delicious. Like there's so much bang for your effort basically. And I know that it's all the same ingredients that you've seen me use over and over and over. I'm just going to let this thicken for a bit and I'm going to talk to you. You've seen me use these ingredients over and over and over, but the one thing I really, really love about Indian cooking is that it's the same spices, it's the same basic flavors that you can put into anything and make something completely different. And I've been cooking for so many years and I always ask my friends, does everything I make taste the same? Like, does my paneer taste like my chicken, taste like my eggs? And they're like, no, it really takes on a flavor of its own. Even though you're using the same spices, you use them in slightly different proportions, in slightly different ways, and the way you prep them is different. And so it always makes something unique. And that's one of my favorite things about Indian cooking is that you can use so many of the same ingredients and make up all this wonderful culinary magic. Coming back to my eggs. Now, it depends on how runny or how stiff you like your scrambled eggs. I don't like them too runny, to be honest. I find that kind of gross. So I like to cook them all the way through, just like this. And there you go. And your eggs have been scrambled with all of your spices. And we're ready to plate. It's that simple. So I quickly turn off the heat. I'm actually going to take it off the heat here because it'll keep cooking and then it'll get burnt. So moving over to our plating, let's bring you over. So the way I like to do this is I sometimes serve it on top of toast. Oh, don't know if you can see properly. Ooh, yeah, there we go. I like to serve it on top of toast. So buttered toast. This looks like a sad toast on a plate, but I'm getting there. Wait for me. So bring my eggs over and just lay them on top of my buttered toast just like that. Yummy, yummy. You don't want to overload it because when you bite into it, it's going to like spill all over the place and, I mean, I don't know if there's a pretty way to eat scrambled eggs really, but if you overload this toast, it's going to be really unpretty. So we just lay it on top like that. Get a little bit of garnish going. Did you see it? Yeah, my little garnish. Perfect. And that's your akuri on toast, or if you prefer, you can just serve it up in a pretty little bowl, just like this. This is one of my favorite bowls. I love this thing. Then just smoosh it all in there. Can you see? Yeah. Beauty. And then you just serve it with a side of toast to munch it up with. Right? Isn't that cute? There you go. Akuri on toast, or Anda Bhurji on toast, or Masala Scrambled eggs on toast, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same and it's all delicious. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I'm going to give you one last look and then I'm going to pick up the plate and yell at you like I always do. Here we go. There we go. Hello. Perfect. Okay, so quick and easy Anda Bhurji on toast, Masala Scrambled eggs on toast, whatever you call it. It's really delicious, and I hope you try it today for your family, or you don't have to do it today. You can do it whenever. I'm not the boss of you, but thank you so much for joining me. I apologize for the rambling. I'm clearly fairly sleep deprived, but I hope you enjoyed this recipe and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you again for all the love and all the fun comments. If I make mistakes, tell me. I want to know. Let me know in the comments below. I will see you next Sunday. Bye. I'm going to eat this now. Immediately. Bye.